Welcome post-Christmas, December 27. Good to have everybody here again, speaking about important topics for men and women that raise men, especially young boys competing in today's world, which is an absolute shit show. Grab some popcorn and some Raisinets. It is an absolute shit show out there, folks. And the topic of today, shout out to Lisa. Mr. Hemi is back. Brandon Trueblood, driving all over town. He's seen a thing or two. Good to see you. Travis is back. What did Santa bring you? Peace, quiet, and freedom. It's a wonderful gift. I get it every year in the last few years, but it's been great. Europe is back. Good to see Europe. But here is how many men were sitting next to their partners, girlfriends, fiancés, wives, mother of their kids, next to a tree, opening up presents. Oh, I hope I can win her affection by this wonderful present I get. Well, it's always nice to give. There's nothing wrong with giving to people. It's the expectations in return that screw everybody up. But let's get to the topic. The high price of catching feelings can destroy men fast. Have we not seen that all over these channels and all over town and all over the world the last 20 years? A man gets in his emotions. He can't process them. He does things crazily. He might be a potential stalker. He might be incel, and he takes his frustration, his emotional disasters out in public and hurts other people. He might hurt gals. He might hurt friends. He might do anything because he's so deep in his emotions. And that is probably one of the biggest important pieces if you are a man in today's society, whether you're 15 years old or 115. We have to learn how to understand emotions. We have to know what they are first and foremost, right? Dane is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Char is back. Good to see Char. Courting marriage does not necessarily mean that you are ready to be married or worth marrying. Oh, it's so true. So true. But that is the reality. We have to help men understand what emotions are. Emotions guarantee nothing. Isn't it funny that when Rad had a in-love experience when I met the wife back in 1996, I thought that those feelings and emotions would lay a foundation of respect, of wonder, of just bliss, of everything possible, potentially good. But we realize very quickly that those emotions fade away very quickly, even when you get to the fiance stage. That's fine and dandy for the dopamine. You're now a fiance. You get to say you're a label. You get to title yourself. I'm a fiance now. And then you get to the marriage, and then you think that this marriage is going to be something crazily good. But really, it just sets the foundation of a strong challenge to like each other. That's really what it comes down to. How can we like each other based on all the experience we've been through, setting up a marriage, going through an engagement, and now we have to pay the debts and get to know each other, live with each other all the time. And we're hoping that those feelings of being in love will carry us like a life raft to the next promised land. Most women have a problem with being seen as a sex object by men, or so they claim, but do not have a problem with benefiting from, or even exploiting their being seen as a sex object by a man. Well said. Mysterio back from Winnipeg. Good to see Mysterio. Happy holidays. And we come back to the original foundation of all men in this space. Brandon Trueblood laying it down in Chinatown. No marriage, no cohab, and no children. Sigma Rodin is back. Good to see you. Dane is a great name, just like the animal. Did I shout out to Mr. Hemi? I think I did. If I haven't, let me know. Most love songs are either by a man praising a woman or by a woman complaining about a man. or a country singer that lost his dog and his truck and his woman to his best friend. Emotions are a learned thing to make people more obedient in a relationship. Men are wild creatures. Inherently, emotions make men weak and pathetic. Jedi Dark Force couldn't agree more. Men have to understand what emotions are. They're chemicals that are produced in the amygdala that hit your gut. This is why you feel it down in your gut. When you feel like you got rejected by a woman, you got kicked in the gut, because those are where those feelings, well, we feel them in the brain. That's another issue, but we feel them right in the gut. That's where we feel the pain. These emotions are typically 3 to 4 chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and vasopressin. These chemicals are released based on a potential experience, a thought, something within a taste bud. If you're eating a hamburger, a complete out of the blue situation that happens. Maybe somebody on a sports team hits a buzzer beater at the last second, and it's just, wow, you didn't think that was coming. So a complete surprise. And so the body releases these chemicals, and men are guilty of attaching themselves to these chemicals. Women are not. I don't believe women understand their chemicals more than men do. You can debate me on that, but I think it's true. Women compartmentalize how they feel. They compartmentalize. They can be broken up, going through a divorce, being cheated on, and still perform their duties. Most of them, if they're a worker, if they're a mother, if they're whatever they do, they can compartmentalize. Where men, we don't have that ability, or very few of us can. Thomas, 1994. The main issue is that women have super high standards and ego. No way. Give me a simple, boring girl. I think a lot of guys think that way, brother. Tell me where you are from. Attachment is the root of all suffering. It's exactly what the Buddha said. Attaching to feelings is suffering. How do you explain why your parents are still together and mine as well? Do you think that those born in the 60s to the 90s can't make a long-term relationship? I think that they decided that they would never, ever mention the word divorce, Mysterio. They decided they were both very devout in their religion. They wanted to have a family. Was it easy? No, my parents fought a lot. Man, talk about a horrible example of how to be a husband. But they're still together, and I think they work through a lot of their issues. Marriage, relationships, engagements, boyfriend, it's not easy. I don't care who you are. You guys are working today. Shout out to Manoj Roy in Mumbai. Sam Fisher is in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Pecan pie with homemade vanilla ice cream makes me feel love. I hope you got some, Brandon. I didn't see you live streaming on Christmas. Hopefully you were having fun, enjoying life. Shout out to Batman if he's listening. His rig got stuck in Wyoming in black ice, so he was staying on Christmas and Christmas Eve in the cab of his truck. You have to be a woman to compartmentalize emotions. Well said. There you go. Back on the road again. Attachment is a kind of illusion that keeps you away from reality. And men suffer this, the biggest issues. I suffered it. I think a lot of guys that have been married that have gone through it suffered it. We attach to our feelings, thinking that our feelings will guide us to the promised land, that they will fix anything that we have issues with. And that's just not the case. We have to truly understand. If man really understands these chemicals that he's feeling when he sees a very attractive woman, or a woman charms him, or what have you, he's got to lose his big head. Big head says, those are feelings I'm feeling in this moment. The next moment, most likely, I will not feel them. I should not attach my life savings and my emotional state, or my mental state, or my physical, or my spiritual state to these emotions, because they are fleeting. They're illusions, if you think about it. And men struggle and suffer when they rely on them as some sort of compass in their life. Timmy Kramer back, helping a guy now is homeless and no vehicle, freezing cold and on the streets. Take care of our brothers, Timmy. Good to see Timmy. There is a default dynamic to women that men are attracted to their beauty and the fantasy of having physical affection from them. Well said, brother. And the reality that we think that we can change the direction by feeling the feelings that we have and then moving forward with that and providing a wonderful life. But in the end, men suffer. I heard one of the MGTOW men died a few days ago. What is his name? I don't know who that was. The last one we know is that I know of is Frank, Channel 1800. Excessive attachment to anything in life makes you mentally enslaved. Well said, Europe. Harshit is from India, back in. Namaste to you. Wolf King is back. He got a new skateboard for Christmas. John Boston, the legendary John Boston, graces us with this present, playing some Rush most likely over the holiday break, and his bass. And from St. Petersburg, it's dark, snowy, cold. It's night. Dang. Stay warm with some vodka, huh? Modern women confuse me. Maybe I'm old school. What's their problem with being faithful, friendly, and frugal? Lisa Smith. If most women were like Lisa, we'd have a different world. The reason many people in our society are miserable, sick, and highly stressed is because of an unhealthy attachment to things they cannot control. And you can't control another person. You can't even control your kids' happiness. The great fabricator of illusions is attachment, can only be obtained by someone who is detached. You're going some Buddha and some Alan Watts on me there, brother. The last I know about was Frank. That's what I'm saying. Rest in peace. I was with a friend of mine, and his brother-in-law just found out his wife wants a divorce. They have grown kids. She doesn't even have a job. She must be watching a lot of Hallmark shows over the holidays, John. Good for you, Timmy. I was there, got sick from a bad pharma drug and effed over by an ex. I was also very lucky to have a good friend get me through the shelter experience. Well, guys, we take care of guys. We help men that truly need help. Channel 1800, managed Roy. They don't need us. They have their jobs, hobbies, their toys, just like us. Well, if men really understood that a woman truly doesn't need a man truly doesn't need a woman. Man wants to truly want a woman. That's the reality, right? Right, Thomas? What about men who are addicted to digital entertainment? I have a friend that won't even travel because he would have to compromise access. That's, again, not a very... anytime there's a fanaticism in life, if you're fanatical about your screen, your video game, what you do, you're not a whole healthy person. I can't ride my bike every single day. I can't work out every single day. I can't skateboard every single day and play guitar. You need a break. You need to come down and you need to moderate. Rather, it's funny. I was with a few friends the other night and we were watching a Dream Theater concert. Those guys are awesome. Good for you. My Polish lady friend bought me practical shit I wouldn't buy myself, but it's all good. There you go. You know what? You know what the greatest gifts are? Something to eat or drink at this stage of my life. Looking at when you started your channel, other than one of passing to the next world, you seem solid and steady. Appreciate that, Mysterio. Mysterio's been around for a long time. I'm happy with my son's directions. I think they're learning. They're going to continue to learn, and hopefully they don't make the decisions that a lot of these young guys make that can derail them quickly and destroy their lives. I think we all have to work to get outside and off the computers. The outdoors is the best therapy. Well said, brother. Did a hike on Christmas Day. It was wonderful. What's up, Brad? Out here listening. Alex, good to have you, brother. Glad you are in the chat. My community is getting against women because of their wrongdoing. I think more men are realizing the challenge it is to deal with ladies, especially the modern day woman. The woman from 30 to 40 years ago was a little bit easier in Rad's world, but still a woman. You don't need a woman. It's just rub one or two out. Trust me, it's cheaper and you'll be relieved. Go Monk, says Dane. You know what? If more men understood that, maybe they'd stay out of a lot of horrible situations. Slam's back. Porn is a shitty coat for the real thing, but it comes with danger. 100%. What porn does to your brain. There's an actual video you can watch called Your Brain on Porn. It removes all the ethical and like religious implications of porn. It just talks about the physical and the mental pieces of it. It's very eye-opening by a professor from Colorado State University. It's called Your Brain on Porn. Someone should post that. It's a YouTube video. My ex made a post about how women are allowed to be emotional and out of control, and the man should stand strong and accept it. Hilarious. The delusion is 100% true. No accountability. Yeah, you see all these TikToks of women going absolutely nuts, even in front of cops. If a man did that, they'd get his ass kicked. Mochi is back. Good to see you, brother. I don't have my hands on it. They're doing it by themselves. They figured out there's something wrong with the situation. And it's Roy. My ex sent me a forgive me text. I was wrong for hurting you deal before Christmas, of course. Oh, how sweet, Wolf King. Did that make you feel? Did you get butterflies? So what was your ex-mother-in-law like? Did you see shades of personality? Yes, she didn't like her husband. She treated him like crap. She was very masculine, mouthy, disrespectful, entitled. Yes, I should have seen that from day one. But I didn't, because Rad was in his feelings. And my feelings turned me into somebody that became abusive. To work without attachment is to work without the expectation of reward or fear or of any punishment in this world or the next, says Europe. Well said, brother. Detachment is true freedom. Detachment from everything, from relationships, from kids, from materialism, from wealth, from health. To detach from everything and just be an observer. That is true freedom. That's when everything is added unto you. I can run one out without looking at porn. Attaboy. For you younger guys, we all wish we had this info on female behavior. Well said. I personally would have focused on buying more real estate. I have not met a man who said, my woman made me rich and happy. That is like scripture right there. If every man knew this, and men will be watching these videos if they're still around in 20, 30, 40 years from now. It doesn't matter the year. By then there'll be robots and Optimus 2 or whatever, Tesla, whatever. The reality is, men, stay out of your emotions. It's not a good place to go. It is extremely dangerous. It's quicksand. It is absolutely quicksand. Attachment is the end boss, the abusive and boss and controlling for 300 Trebek. Brad, my ex-mother-in-law was horrific. Her mom was super nice to me, but she reminisced too much about divorcing her husband. Of course. My ex-mother-in-law said she should have divorced her husband, my father-in-law, who passed away years ago. She was happy for saying, she was get all giddy saying it. I should have divorced him years ago. How did your ex-mother-in-law get away with her behavior from your ex-father-in-law? He was a total wet noodle and a beta, and he took it like most men. Just browbeaten every single day. Charity chess tournament February 25th at 2. Eric Zombro will take on all corners, $5 per game. Proceeds go to Rusty Rivers Cancer. Ooh, Rusty is not feeling good. Did not know that, man. All right, brother. Thank you for sharing that, Brandon. The high price of catching feelings can destroy men. Please elaborate. Does this mean to just not care? It means to not follow the emotions as a guidepost. It means to not use them as a compass. It means to accept them, accept what you're feeling in the moment, and to realize that these emotions, if you decide to follow them, could lead you to a quicksand scenario. A man wants loyalty, but reality is walking towards happiness. Spirituality is true freedom. Well said. And there is the link. Thank you so much for posting that. I don't understand how a man can be attached to 304s. All men know what modern women are doing every day. Pumped it. Well, a lot of men in Europe think with their little head, not their big one. I know that there is no future if we all continue to live in hate towards each other, ourselves, and everything else. Correct. That is why we must understand to remove and detach even from the people that have given us issues, even ex-wives, ex-fiancés. Learn to detach. Again, if we give emotional credence to somebody that hurt us, they have power over us. Putting God and Christ first is powerful. Well said, Wolf. Christ had a lot of great things, he said. My mother said to me, things were not easy with 3 kids and money was always an issue, but how would divorcing make things better for your kids? My mom never heard of divorce, geez, until she came to the USA. What a smart mother. She saw it back then. It's worse. People don't understand. Going through challenges or relationships and get to go know each other and dealing with kids and going through the frustrations and the communication issues. Remember, your wife changes 1,000 times and the husband changes 2 times during the course of a marriage. He tries to be better or he gets worse. you've married 1,000 different versions of your wife. You just don't know it. So if they leave, they're not really getting ahead. They're only changing what roof they sleep under and with whom they sleep in the bed. Other than that, the same things are there. Big John channel, the sword reposting is, ooh, I think I saw that, Timmy. Big John, good stuff. So just accept it is always temporary. I think you can accept the feeling if you're feeling it, but I think that most men get in trouble when they use it as a foundation to anything in life. Anything is fleeting. Anything can leave you immediately. You could be that woman's side piece for a night. You catch feelings and then she leaves for the next day. So you put all of this energy into something that you don't know is going to be around. We don't know anything. So yeah, accept it as temporarily, and that tomorrow and the next moment it could be gone, and be accepting of that fact and detach from the outcome that these feelings will lead you to bliss. T-Tox is back visiting in Pennsylvania. Almost missed his life. So good to have you, brother. T-Tox has gone through a lot in the last 2 to 3 years, but he is in good spirits. Believe in God, not in religion. Wherever there's religion, there's power. Well said. Religion is a walk on slippery rocks. Believe in an infinite intelligence. Could be God, could be Brahma, could be, you name it. Mathematical algorithm in the skies, but there's something divine. I believe there's something divine. When my dad was in the nursing home before he passed, I'd go in and talk to anyone who wanted to talk, play cards with them, and there was so much wisdom in the older generation that truly is lost. And they listen. They speak less, don't they, when you get older? You just don't speak anymore. Maybe it's their vocal cords. Maybe they just said enough in life. They just want to listen and be an observer. And then their true bits of wisdom come out when they're asked a question. True, women try to change it up externally to create happiness when it's always them. A lot of gals run that way, absolutely. Ant-Man is back. Good to see you. Another rad production with my old computer. In fact, I just upgraded my old Mac. It's going to be 15 years old. Runs great. I think I've got 720. I don't need my iPhone takes a lot better videos, but I booted off an external SSD solid state drive from my old goofy hard drive, and it is 10 million times faster. And it works wonderful. Bookshelf, hey, did Santa bring anything for Christmas? I hear abusively controlling. Peace, quiet, and freedom for 300 Trebek. My 2 sons came over, and it was fun to see them. We had some Thai food, exchanged some gifts. Well, I exchanged some cash with them because that's what boys want. Percentage-wise, what would you say the breakup rate is for men and women as a whole? I think women divorce 80% and break up 80% of the time. 20% of the time is men. We stand by those figures. Men do not like to lose after they have built. And they'll stick through it. They're like cats, says Lamb Cave. Armor of God channel is great. Shows you how demonic the age is and how women are possessed 98% of the time. Well, there is a lack of spirituality in this world, 100%. Rev's back. Good to see the Revster. Yo, what up? Got a late notification. We were thinking about you the other day, Rev. He's driving around. He's driving his van. He's going to come out and see us in Salt Lake. Good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas to you. Ran into a woman my age who never married. Turns out she always dated younger guys. Then the latest guy sits around and plays video games. I said, sounds like you support him. She had that 1,000-cock stare. That's what young kids do. Young kids today are bored outside. The majority of them, they play video games. They're on their phone. They're meant, it's sad. I tell my boys, get the hell off the phones. That's why I bought my son a bike so we could ride. He couldn't hold and watch the screen while he's riding steep mountains. 85% of women who attend college cause divorce. Funny how you don't see any studies on this and what happens to these ladies. Well, we know what happens. 98% of women are not recommended. There's Rev's channel. Appreciate that, T-Tox. The Curse of Eve is what Catholic exorcists talk about, feminism, selfish worship. Here's the problem. If you're selfish, man or woman, you have a terrible life. If you run off your ego, you have a terrible life because you are giving power to something that truly is nothing to give power to. The best thing you give power to is detachment and experience. And knowing that, you know what, yeah, that chick is really hot. She said wonderful, charming things to me. That doesn't mean anything. That's just in the moment. But men fall very quickly into that quicksand and they can't get out. They'll spend life savings taking care of these ladies. They will give up all of their passions and hobbies to be around the phone when the phone rings. They lose them. They die. Internally, they die. My old 29 Mac Pro desktop is still kicking after a few upgrades. Unfortunately, they don't make them like that. Well, that's the thing, Travis. I got this and I put in extra RAM. So I'm up to 8 gigs of RAM. And I've got, these machines apparently, especially this Intel Core Duo and the Radiant and the graphics card is absolutely these workhorses. So if you can go find a 2009 or 2010 Mac, you can find it for $100 on eBay. These all-in-ones. You just upgrade the RAM and go solid state drive. You're dope. I want 20 years out of this. I got another 5 years. Darius, good to see you. Greetings from Romania, Transylvania. Keep the good work up and never stop doing the stream. Good to have you. Romania. Isn't Transylvania where the vampire is from? Good to see you. They make some very rich tasting, delicious Romanian food. I sold a Romanian dentist and she, for Christmas one year, gave me these wonderful, egg dishes and all sorts of pastries. It was delicious. I had an argument with my ex over what she did to the family and the divorce and putting us in court. I said, "You are the most selfish person in the world." She literally said, "How am I selfish?" Of course. Accountability for 300, Trebek. The apostles didn't need the biatches. Well, they were too busy walking on water, right? Walking on water with Jesus, learning how to cure and raise the dead, cure diseases. There's Travis's channel. Check out Travis's. Who else we got? Slams on here. We got Rev's channel. Women always planning to trap others, supporting that biatch, complete blank in my place. I hate whatever's going on around me. Yeah, I mean, women are just, they're different than men. Let's just be real. Men have different brains. Women have different brains. You got to accept it. It's funny. I know guys that think that by their knowledge and experience and the way they treat them, they can change a lady. You can't change a lady. Our brains are completely opposite. We're literally different species. Dr. Frankenfurter. Attaboy, Rev. At your age, what difference do you see in the young generation? I think the young generation today is obviously weaker mentally, emotionally, physically. A lot of weak kids. They don't get out. They say a lot of these young bodies that are between 16 and 22 have the testosterone of the 70-year-old. They're not outside. They're myopic. Their eyes are ski-wampus because they've been looking at a 3x4 screen all day, 12, 14 hours. There's a lot of intelligence with these kids. A lot of them are extremely intelligent when it comes to book smarts, school, but dumb as rocks when it comes to street smarts. They don't know how to talk to people. They talk through phones. I mean, I've seen it. Kids sitting on the same couch, texting each other right next to each other. So yeah, we have a very difficult generation coming up that literally run to safe spaces. They all need to wear helmets. Whereas I grew up, we didn't wear helmets. You hit your head, you didn't cry. If you cried, you were called a pussy or a wussy or a wimp. And you got the hell up. When we skateboarded, we didn't wear helmets. And you hit your head hard, you got back up. Women are always buying crap, trying to fix their own happiness. Purses, shoes, dessert, yacht. Well, yeah, absolutely. It's their oxytocin. Well said, brother. A lot of women escape their emotional chit-chatter in their brain by using a debit or credit card on a daily. Vampires come from Romania, Vlad Dracula. And yes, we have very tasty traditional food. Greeting and wish you all the best in the new year. And you as well, Darius. Glad you are here, brother. Thank you for sharing your experience. T-Tox laying it down for Slam's channel. Brandon's going live after this. Jump on. I'm going to be done in a half hour. So I need to go to the gym and maybe do some work. Led Zeppelin, dazed and confused, been so long. It's not true. Wanted a woman, never bargained for. Lots of people talk, and few of them. No soul of a woman was created below. Great song by the Zeppelin. I love Zeppelin. I still love them. That's the reason why you sell luxury women or man. Well, if you want to build a business, the guys ask me, what should I do? Find a business that caters to the appetites and desires of women or men that want to take care of women. Anti-aging products, products that make them look prettier, products that help them sleep better, boxed wine, pet stuff, pet foods, right? What women don't buy things like men do. They don't buy automobile tools. They buy things to make them feel better. A gas can is not going to make them feel better. For a man, it will, because they'll be like, hell, we need that utility to run a weed whacker. Lisa says, here's an analogy, gentlemen. Men have waffle brains, organized and compartmentalized. Women have spaghetti brains. Oh, that's funny. That's why we need our dads, uncles, brothers, and husbands. But we also need men that were raised in a strong environment that understood how to monitor their feelings. Remember that Robert De Niro film, If You Can't Leave a Woman in 30 Seconds, You're in Trouble? Was that the one, Something's Gotta Give? As a kid, I beat my head around like a soccer ball. Oh, yeah, we probably all have like traumatic brain injuries. My brother and I, he's a year and 3 months older than me. We would go out. There was a house being built next to us, and we jump off the second story into the dirt pit with like nails and sheet metal and sharp wood. My mom would come out. Boys, dinner will be in 20 minutes. Don't get hurt. We were jumping like 12 feet out into throwing dirt clods at one another. Interesting. Saw a woman on a dating site that I know. She's lying about her age and put her age 2 years younger. They all do. She divorced her husband 10 years ago. She's an RN like all of them on dating sites. They all say they're younger, man. Christmas Eve was my first holiday and birthday with the kids. Good for you, brother. It landed on Sunday, so I got an extra overnight. She flipped out. I had the court order in hand, expecting cops. All went smoothly. I'm glad it went well and you could take care of them. What a wonderful day you had. Heat. That Heat was great with Pacino and Val Kilmer, De Niro. That's a great movie. Spaghetti brain destroys every man. Sure. Men can't compete with the spaghetti brain. We try to fix it. You can't fix it. Just like Lisa says, Heat was De Niro's movie when he states his leaving mantra. Yeah, but De Niro's turned into an ultimate simp. Unfortunately, I like a lot of his movies, but he has become a libtard simp. Who ages better? I think men do. Their skin is thicker. Women's skin ages quicker. But men, if they don't take care of themselves, look like crap too. I see 40-year-old guys that look like they're 60. So you got to take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. All right, Bookshelf, good to have you in the chat. We used scrap lumber from sites to build tree forts 20 feet high. Yes, we did. Using nails, we straightened. Oh, man, how many times do you fall out of a tree fort building a house? Remember pulling up the plywood and trying to put this like awkward piece of plywood you got from the construction site between like two branches, and the branches were like 3 inches below. So it was on an angle, but man, you love putting that green thick nail through that deal going through the branch, and you sat up there even though you were sliding off of it. Just felt wonderful. I know those days. Boys don't do that anymore. Very few. I saw a kid the other day building a tree fort. I'm like, man, good for you. He's got no computer. He's doing something with his hands. He's going to do something, hopefully. Men need to learn to live alone. We come alone in the world, and we will die alone. Well said. De Niro is a true leftard. He has turned into one, T-Tox. Invest in yourself. It has a better return in investment. Go to the gym, ride a bike, and buy crypto. Says Patriots. Good to see you, brother. You're back in. Men will look good if they take care of themselves. You know, a lot of the reason men age quickly if their mental and emotional state is skiwampus too. Again, the high price of catching feelings. I ran into a guy, I think I've shared this a few times, Billings, Montana, 4 years ago, 75 years old. His wife had left him 15 years before that, still suffering. I can't imagine the state of his health. Still suffering. He was crying at the urinal. Talking, really nice guy, sweet guy, older guy, rich mother effer. And he was crying about a woman that he loved. Now, and I thought it was, man, this guy truly loved this woman. But at the same time, it's like this woman divorced you, married a new guy, and left you in the dirt after everything you gave to her. Now, I don't know his story, but it just sounds like that's what happened. And he's still worried. He's still giving power to a woman that rejected him. And most men do this. They will give power. Well, she divorced me because I was a jerk. She divorced me. I should have been better. I should have bought her that red dress for Christmas. I should have bought her the tennis bracelet. I should have bought the Land Rover instead of the minivan. I should have done. So men continually reject the idea that she did anything wrong. She'll put them on a pedestal. And unfortunately, women and men are both contribute to the downfall of any relationship. I believe women get bored a lot more quicker. They are the ones that proven by their government statistics, they divorce 80% of the time. And men don't do that. Men will live in quiet desperation. They'll go to their man cave after everything they've built because they don't want to lose their investment. Again, a marriage of 20 years is still an investment, regardless of how lame the woman is. That's why beer was invented. We need to build a mini ramp. I was just thinking about that the other day. I love it, like a little, 12 foot, maybe 3.5, 4 foot tall mini ramp, and with some skate light. That'd be dope. He needs to be red pilled. Well said, brother. Feelings mean your dopamine levels are going up and you focus too much energy to her. Yeah, absolutely, Patriots. You're giving too much energy and power to something that is out of your control. And that's another thing. The price of catching feelings takes your power away from you. You are now in her grasp and her control. What she says and does can affect those energy, and those chemical levels. And you will do things that you thought you would never do. Gerald Montagna is back. Good to see you, brother. Been a few. Appreciate you being here, brother. Get them to our game. We need to help men. You skated. Skaters are bad boys. Are you still a bad boy at your age? Get free. I still do some crazy stuff. I still keep myself young by doing grinds and jumping off ledges. But I'm a little bit more conservative, Walking away sometimes is all we have, says Slam. Yeah. There's 20% of us that have to walk away. Had a great hangout with the guys. Christmas, amazing food and hors d'oeuvres. Had an old buddy come jam. He's good at guitar, going to work on new recording. Good. Get some more music out. Travis. My ex allowed me to go through the shelter experience, cheat on me, and get away. Heartless 304s. There's a lot of them out there, Wolf. They're bringing back great childhood memories, playing on construction sites, tree forts, playing sports on the asphalt, lots of creative stuff. Hardly any kids do that anymore. Swig 555. Well said. Remember buying your first CD or your first cassette? The first cassette I ever bought was Cameo. Remember Cameo? Word Up, it's the cold word. And Aerosmith, Kings and Queens. Went to Tower Records. I had a $10 gift certificate. $10 back then was $50. Bought 2 cassettes. I was a true wild child. Boys are awesome. Craziest thing girls ever did was spread their legs. Whoop-de-doo. CJ, we jumped off the cliffs, didn't we? We did the rope swings. We built the tree forts. We built the skate ramps in the yard that were steeper than, 100 degrees. We did all those things because we could. And you know what? It's funny. We built these ramps that were so steep. They're 4 feet tall with 3 feet of vert. And we'd still skate them. And we felt so great. We knew they were horrible, but we just loved the fact that we built something, created something, built it, skated it, then we tore it down and built a different one. If you remain stoic, you feel more masculine. Catching feelings makes you feminine. Well said, Patriots. I just want to go back to the days when the CCS catalog excited me. Ooh, Jason Jesse's Cadillac. Consolidated Skateboarding. Ishi from California. Good to see you. Personality, I'm a lot. It depends. Yeah, I'm as I get older, I don't take any more shit. But I don't think I was ever a pushover. I try to do the things in my marriage that brought peace. And a lot of times we sacrifice ourselves for the good of the family and the good of her. Or not, I wouldn't say good of her, just to keep peace quiet, right? I've seen more of my male friends down in the dumps over women than vice versa. Of course. That's par for the course, Mysterio. Men suffer quicker, earlier, and women suffer later. Might take 2 years for a man to get over that woman, but when he's over her, he's over her. And a woman might come back. They all do. If men had incentives to divorce like women, would there be more men divorcing? Of course, said a women, if you divorce, it's involved shared custody or kids, stay with dad, things would change. Possibly. But I don't think men, I think men don't give up as easy. How did you learn to skate? We had to learn on our own. Yep. We didn't have it. I mean, I started skateboard in 1984. We go down to the skate shops, watch the older guys skateboard, try to mimic them. And to get a video back in those days, we didn't have a VCR till I was a senior in high school. So I have to go to a friend's house and watch them or whatever. But we would read Thrasher and Transworld, and we would just try to do the tricks that they were doing. And then there's always the older guys that knew how to do it. Wall rides and ollies and things like that. Europe, like Romania, starts to chase dopamine and you can't make them happy. And yes, like you say a few minutes ago, you can't make them happy. They get bored quick. They sure do get bored. There's always a better, bigger option. Did you hang out with women when you were in youth before high school? Not really for me. My first women friend. I did. I had a couple friends that were ladies. I had girlfriends through high school. And I hung out with other gals. We had a couple friends. My first record I bought was Cheap Trick live at Budokan. There you go. I want you to want me. My two little brothers built a treehouse and a zip line and a big oak tree in our backyard. We had a blast growing up outside before the internet was invented. Those were the days, Lisa. Cool brothers you had. No, men will not divorce. They are simply comfortable with what they get. Man pay for shamefulness and loyalty. I think that's a good response, Manish. As a Canadian, we were playing road hockey. All the neighborhood kids would gather, road crashed our bikes, played baseball, and we were remember ghost riding your bikes down the street? We were free range bubs. We used to go out when the pond would freeze, we would go and walk on it. We walked to the point where it was really thin, and then we wouldn't get too close, but we tried it. We dared ourselves. And then when in the summer, we'd make these rafts, and we would get out and we'd raft to the dam part, and we just did those things. That's what you did in the summer. You rode your bike to 7-Eleven, got some nachos, then you went to the skateboarded, then you went to the pond, and you take your fishing pole, you try to catch a fish, you get all intertwined, then you go build a tree house, rinse and repeat. Men think marriage like it's business. Women usually go more with the flow. Well said, brother. You meet Tony Hawk, and I've met Tony Hawk. He's a nice guy. He's a very nerdy guy. He's an engineer brain. It's weird because most skaters, professional skaters, have an engineer type brain. They're very good with math, physics, logistics. I mean, Rodney Mullen, Tony Hawk, perfect examples. Both are they're almost like, especially Mullen. He was so sick. I would say he's probably got a little Asperger's like Elon Musk, but I'm a sales guy. I'm a person guy. So professional skaters are not outwardly salesy. So it's very interesting. Women now are like prawn actresses looking for the next schlong and benefits. Oh, yeah. My first 3 records that I recall was Van Halen, AC/DC, The Police, Heart, and The Cult. Attaboy. I would have been your friend. 60% of women who are in relationship are using dating apps. Is it that low? I thought it'd be higher, brother. I also play hockey, both ice and roller. I was a Hartford Whalers fan growing up. Interesting. I did roller hockey. A friend of mine, when I was married, did roller hockey. That was fun. Rollerblading with hockey. I'm sure it happened, but I'm not aware of any woman who has deleted herself over a man, but I know of a lot of men who have. I'm sure it's happened, but it's probably so rare. So rare. And they'll probably say she was depressed. You are absolutely wrong. Women think it is a business and men goes with the flow. I don't think he's wrong, Manage Roy. Women do look at it. I lost my train of thought. So would you say trans world skateboarding survivors today? No, it's woke now, Rev. All these kids are woke. Even the skaters. Their tricks are woke. I catch feelings for a dumb single of two. Biggest mistake of my life, says Ed, but I accept my mistake by going my own way. I learned the hard way, says Ed. Good to see you, brother. Ed has been around for a while. Once a woman leaves you, she can barely remember your name unless there's children involved. Several women have told me it feels like it was just a dream. No surprise, Gerald. No surprise. The Whalers for 300, Trebek. Yeah, Manage is in India, and I only have experience in the West, which is what Patriot has as well. Would you say extroverts have a big advantage over introverts in sales? Yes and no. An introvert won't open his mouth as much, which is good negotiation. An extrovert might say too much. That's why understanding when to talk and when to speak are extremely important in sales. Do you think Rad 20 would listen to Rad 51? No. No, because at 20 we know everything, Mysterio, just like my boys. Awesome vibes to Django Reinhardt. There you go. My dad brought me to the Boston Garden to see the Bruins play the Whalers the first year they were in the league. You remember that. You remember that, John. Did your school take you all roller skating? Or I think we did roller skating. My field trip that I remember the most was going to the zoo and then going to a Mexican restaurant in junior high. We were in Spanish class and we went to a Mexican restaurant. And I remember that. It was like the first time I really ate Mexican at a Mexican restaurant. I love it that you have had Scotty and Rev stay with you. They were in Utah. Yeah, they were good. They were good. I've met up with a bunch of guys. Anyone that's in my regular is always welcome to stay with Rad. I do like Bob Marley. And I like Ziggy as well. See you later, Patriots. And I'm going to shut this off in a minute, guys. Django was the boss. He played with a burned guitar neck hand. Interesting. I did not know that. I have Ron Francis and Kevin Deenan Whalers jerseys. Man, going old school. Men remember a lot in their childhood. The things that we remember, the weirdest things, like that first taste of a Slurpee, for playing video games at 7-Eleven, Super Mario Brothers with your quarters lined up. Remember putting your quarters up there? There's always that older guy that played it like too long. Introverts are good at selling corporate products. Extroverts are good at pushing product, I guess. Yeah, you could be right on that, sure. Gateway Pundit posted the story. Higher education Russian textbooks say Trump lost 2020 and rigged election. Interesting. Well, there's a lot of weirdness going on, that's for sure. 2024 is going to be an interesting year. What are you going to do, guys? What are we going to do to stay out of emotional quicksand? What are we going to do to become better versions of ourselves? Dane says, I miss hanging out at 7-Eleven. Remember the Big Gulp cups? They weren't made out of paper. They were made out of plastic. I remember there was a Big Gulp cup, and the Big Gulps were only 32 ounces. I remember my mom came home with one at one time. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like Big Gulp was the first, 7-Eleven was the first store to make like larger soda pops. And it was the Cannonball Run. It was a white cup with orange writing with the Cannonball Run. And remember, you could win prizes underneath if you pulled out the little cardboard saucer. There might be a prize under it. I would drink or smoke with any of you brothers. Happy New Year to you, Slam. We could all hang out at some place in Chicago or Mexico. We'd all be instant best friends. Stay hard, says David Goggins. Get free. Good to see you, get free. I slammed my head on the ice. The very first time I went ice skating, legs went right out from under me. Probably had a concussion. He probably did. That's why Rev lives in a van down by the river. They had the tradable coins in the bottom. Yes, they did. Yes. 7-Eleven, man. I mean, other people say Circle K. 7-Eleven is what we had. We have to skateboard. It was like 3 miles, cross a field. There was 3 video games. There was usually a Galaga, a pinball machine, and maybe Donkey Kong or Super Mario. We get our big gulps, and we thought we were cool because we'd make graveyard big gulps, which is like you get a little bit of each, Coke and Diet Coke and orange, and you mix them together. We call them graveyard. So what else? People also call them something else, but we call them graveyards. And then we get nachos. And we'd sit out and we'd put our quarters, we'd wait for the guy to be done, and we'd sit out on the curb and we'd be eating and watching everybody show up. Maybe we'd skate right next in the empty parking lot, and then we'd come. That's what we did. Literally for 3 or 4 hours. We'd buy Laffy Taffy and Tootsie Rolls and Blow Pops. Am I speaking your language? But Mysterio was at 7-Eleven. He was buying coffee crisps and Aero bars and Mr. Biggs. Didn't Bloomberg ban those big gulp sizes? He probably did. I remember they banned it. So dumb. Playing ice hockey 2 weeks ago, mild concussion, 4 stitches, and a shit ton of blood. Been ice skating over 50 years. Dang, brother. Be safe. How about that one guy that got deleted playing in a pro game with the dude that jumped up and sliced his throat? Man, Garbage Pail Kids, Pizza Place Arcades. Remember Garbage? Adam Baum was my favorite Garbage Pail Kid. I think I still got Garbage Kids downstairs. My buddy sent me some. Vincent Vomit. Who else? Smelly Sally. Those are funny. Lisa Smith said those Minnesotas were also called Oh, gotcha. That's right. We call them graveyards where we were from. I saw lots of 7-Elevens in California over the last year. A nice blast from the past. Heavy metal dances at a Catholic grade school. There you go. I had a girlfriend that came from a Catholic school. Found out she played for both sides later. And her locker mate, her locker partner was her girlfriend. It was the weirdest thing. Guys, this has been good. Go out and have a great New Year's. We'll catch you on the next one. Rebel against defeat, chase excellence, masculinity, men first.